I just hosted a release party here in Austin, Texas for my pickleball paddle, the Brute. 3 things players seemed to like the most about the paddle was the power, the control, and the price point. After a nice warm-up session, Elise got me dressed up in the Brute costume, where I talked about how I made the paddle, why I named it the Brute, and why $95 price point. If you want to know more about those topics, you can check out my previous video where I covered that here. After the talk, a lot of players went out and tried out the paddle themselves and compared it to their current paddle. One of those players is my friend Sherry Norris, who is a former professional tennis player that made the main draw in both Wimbledon and the Australian Open. She's been playing pickleball for a few years and tried out the Brute for her first time at the release party. Here's what she had to say about it.
What did you think of the paddle?
Oh my gosh, I came here today without any judgments or anything, wanting to try Calvin's paddle, the Brute. And after I started hitting with it and really started enjoying the game and playing with it, I felt like it just had more touch than I would have ever expected, but it was the power as well. And I had more power, more touch, and just totally impressed by this Calvin's new Brute. I love it a lot, and I got my first one too. So I'm excited.
Thanks, Sherry. Actually, probably the closest game I played at the release party was against you and Elise, where Michael and I took y'all on. Lots of back and forth, lots of big celebratory shots, in a game that went into extra points. We'll come back to this big game, but first let's see how others are doing with the Brute. I got players of all different skill levels to come out and try out the Brute in hopes of getting lots of different feedback on the paddle, along with us having a lot of good time with family and friends. Everyone seemed to enjoy mixing in with each other while enjoying this game we all love. Woo! Love it. Oh, looks like Marshall's excited to have a Brute in his hand too. Marshall's a really good photographer and videographer based out of Austin, Texas, and he just released his new website actually, where you can see some of his amazing work at marshallfoster.com. And he also happens to be a pretty dang good pickleballer. Let's hear what he has to say about it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I haven't used another paddle in years, so I wasn't sure what to expect at first, but using it, I felt it had a lot of control, but a lot of pop, and yeah, won a lot of games today. So, but it felt great in the hand, very light, a lot of control. So I loved it.
Awesome.
So it seems like you enjoyed the Brute playing in your normal games, Marshall. Sounds like you did well with it. But can you hit with the Brute while your arms are constricted in the Brute cutout? Let's see.
There you go.
Nice work, Marshall. Looks like you can. Now let's see more clips of family and friends getting to test out the Brute themselves.
One.
It appears that we also have our favorite meteorologist in the house, Levi. Levi is actually one of the first 2 people to play in a competitive match with the Brute. He and Elise played in an MLP style format, and they were the 2 first players to use this at a competitive event. Let's hear what he has to say about the paddle.
Honest review, been playing with the Brute for about a month now, and I really like it. Yeah, it's got good power. I love the touch with it. It's very similar to some of my old paddles with very good touch, but a lot more power than those. Price point for this is just better than you're going to find anywhere on the market right now, and I really think you get it because the design is really good as well.
Levi also destroyed me with my own paddle at the release party. Got me all pretzeled up. I didn't know where the ball was coming. He really good at deceiving with his trick shots. And yeah, my ego is still a bit hurt, but I'm getting over it. It's fine. Speaking of ego, back to the big game where we have Elise and Sherry taking on me and Michael here. Lots of back and forth, big points, lots of offense, lots of defense. Everyone refusing to lose. Our game that was supposed to go at 11 seemed to go on forever. We actually ended up taking a break at about 10-10, realizing this game's not going to end at the normal 11 points. And sun's beaming down, people are leaving, but there we are battling out to see who wins the game of the day. Not too long after the break though, they pull it out, put together a couple of good points and end up beating me and Michael by 2 in overtime. So lots of fun in that game and lots of fun overall. If you want to check out all the specs of the Brute and or maybe even order one yourself, you can head over to my store, my online store at calvinkeeney.com/shop, or you can scan this QR code here on the screen and check it out through that. Well, that's it for this one, and you have a great day. Bye. That was like this.